Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I'm doing something a little bit different. So I know y'all like, girl, where you at? I hear you, but I don't see you. Yes, we are going to do voiceover style. I don't really look good today. Your girl is in her bonnet. So we're going to switch it up. I want to see how y'all like it. Tell me if you enjoy it. If you don't, I need some interaction in the comments. Y'all be hitting your girl up on Instagram, but I'm like, can y'all comment? Let's talk. Let's have a discussion. As you can see by the title, today we are going to be talking about what is the correlation between being claustrophobic and being a slave. I know you're like, girl, everybody want to blame everything on slavery. It happened so long ago. First of all, I can get into that with another video because slavery is not over. There is modern day slavery called human trafficking, among many other things. But hey, I'm going to let it slide today. But first, listen to this.
From about 1525 to 1866, 12.5 million Africans were taken from their homeland and forcibly transported across the Atlantic, a journey that approximately 2 million of them would not survive. By the turn of the 18th century, European merchants were building vessels capable of transporting hundreds of enslaved people per journey. These ships had extra portholes for ventilation, weapons mounted on deck in case of rebellion, and additional compartments added below deck to take on more human cargo. Once moved below deck, enslaved people would find themselves stuffed into compartments with ceilings as low as 4.5 feet, where they would spend most of their voyage. They were segregated by gender and age. Adult men were kept separately and shackled in pairs. Women usually left unchained in their designated compartment, and children often free to move about the ship. There were no sanitary facilities of any kind. Enslaved people were forced to relieve themselves where they sat, creating hellish conditions when combined with the heat and lack of ventilation below deck.
Let me not make the assumption that you know what claustrophobia means. Claustrophobia is a noun that means abnormal fear of confined spaces. Sometimes, when I'm in a small room, crowded elevator, or large group of people, I feel uncomfortable and start to feel suffocated. If this is true to you, listen up. Our slave ancestors were forced to live and sleep below deck in a hole of a ship, dehumanized and packaged and wedged together as cargo. The slaves were so loaded tightly, no one could roll over, stand up, or bend down. It is entirely possible that when standing in a room full of blacks or finding ourselves in windowless small rooms, that we might re-experience an overpowering feeling of too closeness. And an elevator or closet can bring this about. That's another reason why we demand so much respect for our space. And we will tell anyone in no limited time, don't be getting up in my face. We may even feel uncomfortable if someone stands too close to us and consider it ill mannered. We don't want to be too close to anyone anymore. It's not because we don't necessarily like each other. It's just that we'd rather not be crowded and pressed. And yes, this reaction falls under the body memory category of post-traumatic stress subsequent to our slave history. This involuntary flashback is an overwhelming feeling. We are not crazy. We are not hallucinating. We are actually having these inner body experiences which no one can understand or identify but us. May seem far-fetched to some, but I promise you there's definitely a connection there. It's that body memory you pass down. Energy is real. It is a real thing. So we about to watch a video of somebody being like, you need to get out of my space, because we can all relate to that, can't we? Wait, you know what? We're going to end it with the black sister that got claustrophobia. But I just want to say this real quick. This being outdoors a lot is another reason why the enemy has so much power and opportunity to murder our men, because no matter what the season or weather, there will always be black men outside on the street corners, doorsteps, just talking, laughing, being around each other, just out in the open space. Don't let anybody tell you that slavery has nothing to do with today. It irritates me. There's so many things that are embedded in us from slavery. You got to remember, it took 400 years to master this mentality. Now we're under mind control because we believe that we are willingly doing certain things, but it really came from a while ago. This will not be my last video about something like this. There's a lot of connections need to be made. There's a lot of history we have to learn. I'm tired of this little watered down version that school want to give us. Not in my household, not on my YouTube. No ma'am, no how. All right, but I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead and watch this video. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much. Please drop a comment. Let's talk. What you think? You think it's far-fetched, or you like, you know what, Diamond? Maybe you got a point.
Tori Murray knew she had a problem when she felt trapped in tight spaces, especially elevators.
But if I'm walking up to an elevator, I'm like, oh no. Immediately sweaty hands. Sometimes my heart would race.
She says her claustrophobia started in her early teens when she felt trapped in a dark hallway during a power outage.
It was just weird. It was like all of a sudden, boom, like this is serious.
The phobia creeped into activities she once enjoyed.
There was a concert I went to and I was in the smack center and it just felt like I was just stuck. And I was like, I do not like this, and you can't move, you're just stuck there. I can't even enjoy the concert anymore.
Murray avoided tight spaces. Even blankets would spark her anxiety.
I couldn't be under there for too long. It would just be too tight.
To conquer her claustrophobia, she took part in a study at BU Center for Anxiety and Related Disorders. She also underwent exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy involves confronting a situation, an object, or an activity that somebody might be afraid of in a very gradual way, so taking it one step at a time. It's designed to really help the person to become more comfortable with the situation and to overcome their fears.
You just do the same thing, see how your gains have been maintained.
Part of Murray's therapy, lying in a dark closet for several sessions. It was rough at first.
Like, it was my last breath every time.
Gonna close the doors and stay in until I open them.
On this day, a follow-up to her initial treatments.
It felt like a coffin because you have to get in there and you have to lay down and all you can do is have your arms by your side. And they suggest don't close your eyes because that's a coping mechanism to help you, escape your reality.
The next test for Murray, withstanding a mock MRI.
How you feeling?
It's a little tight.
A little tight. All right, you got this.
Joseph Carpenter, a Boston University PhD student working on this study, says Murray has shown great progress. She enhanced her learning from the initial exposure therapy sessions.
I'm alive.
And you think you could handle a full MRI if you had to be in there 30, 40 minutes?
Yeah, just back to just staying present.
Some might argue exposure therapy looks like torture. Dr. Farchione says, look past the optics.
The person is in control, and what I mean by that is if they want it to end, it ends. Exposure therapy is designed to give the person the opportunity to see that the fear will rise, but the fear will also go down. So if you stay in that situation, eventually the fear will resolve.
Now I'm in a place where I'm over it. Before, it was something that was really scary. I'm honestly okay. I take elevators a lot. I go in the elevator and I'm like, what floor am I going to? Okay. And then I just go.